Hello, everybody. You're on the mic. And on today's episode, we're going to continue our series into classic American animation cartoon studios. Today, we're going to be focusing in on DIC Entertainment. So, without no further ado, let's get going here. Okay. DIC Entertainment Corporation, branded as The Incredible World of DIC and formerly known as DIC Audio Visual, DIC Enterprises, DIC Animation City, and DIC Productions, was an international film and television production company. In 2008, DIC was acquired by the Cookie Jar Group and was folded into it. As of 2012, most of the DIC library is currently owned by WildBrain, formerly DHX Media, after DHX acquired the Cookie Jar Group on October 22nd, 2012. In addition to animated and live-action television series, while under Disney, DiC produced live-action feature films, including Meet the Deedles in 1998 and Inspector Gadget in 1999, and licensed various anime series such as Sailor Moon, Saint Seiya, and Speed Racer X. Of course, it was the DiC dub of Sailor Moon that got a lot of criticism from a lot of the fans of the original, um, from the original um, time frame. Let's look at the history of DiC Enterprises. Okay, so first up, DiC Enterprises. Diffusion Information Communications was formed in France in 1971 by Jean Chalopin, um, as the production division of Radio Television Luxembourg, a long existing media company. DiC's American arm was founded in April of 1982 in Burbank, California by Andy Hayward, a former story writer for Hanna-Barbera, to translate DiC Productions into English, and the company produced television animation for both network broadcast and syndication, outsourced its non-creative work overseas, enforced anti-union policies, and hired staff on a per-program basis to cut costs. Now, they were trying to basically keep costs down with it, so that is generally the point with smaller companies, trying to keep costs down to stay afloat. So let's see. For some in the industry, DiC stood for "Do It Cheap," with directors Bruno Bianchi and Bernard um, Darius. Chalopin and Hayward were able to make DiC an effective but restrained animation company. Soon after joining DiC, Hayward developed Inspector Gadget, which became a successful production out of the American office. Um, I believe that was the Inspector Gadget that had Don Adams as the voice of Inspector Gadget back in the 80s. DiC partnered with toy makers and greeting card companies for character-based product lines that could be made into animated series. The DiC productions came with built-in advertisers and sometime financiers. Between Inspector Gadget and The Littles, the latter produced for ABC, the company became profitable. Yeah, the Littles were I remember they were part of the ABC Saturday morning lineup in like the late '80s, early '90s. There, I think many of us remember. They're like little people with tails. It's like kind of look like mice in a way, but without the ears and buck teeth. You know, the song goes, "We are the little." Anyways, and Tom Little, Lucy Little, um, Grandpa Little, Dinky Little. So, as the only non-union animation firm in 1984, DIC faced a unionization effort which failed. In 1985, DIC opened its own Japan-based animation facility for animation production on their shows in order to bypass overseas animation subcontractors. In April 1986, DIC launched a syndicated block called Kiddio TV with LBS Communications and Mattel. From late 1986 to 1987, um, Hayward, along with investors Bear Stearns and Company and Prudential Insurance Company, bought Chalopan and Radio Television Luxembourg's 52% stake in DIC in a $70 million leverage buyout and made the U.S. headquarters the company's main base of operations. After the buyout, Chalopin, Bianchi, and De Rias and producer Tetsuo Katayama left the company to be replaced by Robbie London and Michael Milani as key employees. Okay. Um, After selling his shares in DIC, Chalopin retained DIC's original offices in France and formed the company C&D, Creativity and Development, in 1987 to continue producing animated shows. After the buyout, DIC was heavily in debt, and the foreign rights to the DIC library were sold in 1987 to Saban Productions, who then sold the rights to Chalopin's C&D. At the time, Hayward considered Chalopin an enemy because of the purchase, and the situation permanently poisoned DIC and Saban's relationship. DIC sued Saban for damages in 1991. Both companies reached settlement. By 1987, DIC Enterprises, parent company, was known as DIC Animation City Incorporated. DIC also entered the toy industry with the development of Old MacDonald talking toy line. In December, DIC arranged a deal to merge with Computer Memories Incorporated, a former computer component manufacturer and then public shell company. A dissident computer memory shareholder scuttled the deal in February 1988. With the buyout debt still a burden, the animation market beginning to soften with the rise of videotape viewing and a glut of new shows and new kids cable channels, Japanese contract animation companies rates increased 40% from 1986 to 1988 due to the yen exchange rate. In 1987, DIC moved production of Dennis the Menace to a Canadian animation firm for grants and tax breaks from the Canadian government. The company started moving some work to Korea and Taiwan. By the 1987-88 season, DIC, and what they mean by that, of course, is TV season from September to May, basically. DIC had shows on all three major networks Saturday morning, 6 half hours of shows and 50 half hours per week in syndication. Prudential Insurance Company purchased additional equity of DIC Animation City in August of 1989, while increasing DIC's debt capacity. For the 1989-90 season, DIC provided 30% of the network's Saturday morning schedule, with a total of 60 hours per week on the network's local stations and cable channels. For four new programs debuted that season on cable and syndication. On September 11, 1989, DIC launched the 26 hours a week Funtown programming block on CBN Family Channel. DIC was able to produce four specials, with the first launching on Funtown, with the others mostly holiday specials for the fourth quarter of 1989. A special based on the new Archies was slated for the first quarter of 1990. Throughout the early 90s, DIC entered into partnerships with the Italian studio um, Rete, Rete Italia SPA and the Spanish network Telecinco, um, both owned by the Finvest Group, and co-produced shows with them both. In 1993, DIC started up an educational unit as well as a multimedia game unit called DIC Interactive. With this, the company moved their headquarters to a larger building in Bankwood. So basically, by 1993, they decided to expand from just doing cartoon shows to like video games and other computer programming type stuff. In 1993, DIC Animation City and Capital Cities ABC formed a joint venture called DIC Entertainment LP, with Hayward retaining small ownership stake. DIC Animation City was supposed to remain independent, but was folded into the limited partnership a year later. In 1994, DIC launched a live-action television unit. In the same year, DIC and Capital Cities ABC launched two children's books, Dragon Club and Panda Club in China. In October 1995, DIC Productions LP produced announced they would be opening an animation office in France in partnership with Hamster Productions, which at the time was 33% minority owned by DC's majority owner, Capital Cities ABC. In March 1997, the studio was opened up and was named Les Studios Tex, which DC was a shareholder. Or D, I'm sorry, not DC, DIC was a shareholder. In January 1996, DIC became part of Walt Disney Company conglomerate following Disney's acquisition of Capital Cities ABC. In the same year, the company launched a feature film unit and signed a first look deal with Walt Disney Pictures, which was later extended in 1998. DIC launched a direct-to-video division in April 1998 with Riley Catherine Ellis, a Caravan Pictures producer, hired as division head. The first release planned was Madeline Lost in Paris in spring 1999, with all the division's DVDs to be released by Buena Vista Home Entertainment. In May 1998, DIC signed a deal to provide a children's programming block, Freddy's Firehouse, for PaxNet Television Network. Now, as we move on to their time as an independent. So in 2000, with an investment by Bain Capital and Chase Capital Partners, Hayward purchased back Disney's majority stake in DIC Entertainment LP. In February 2001, DIC announced their return to the home video market, forming a new division titled DIC Home Entertainment, and began releasing products starting in May 2001. However, this was delayed due to DIC's problems in finding a distributor partner, which would happen in July of 2001 when DIC signed a deal with Lionsgate Home Entertainment for North American distribution of DIC Home Entertainment products. In June 2001, DIC announced they would purchase Golden Books Family Entertainment for $170 million. However, DIC eventually backed up of the deal backed out of the deal due to the high cost of the purchase, and the company was instead co-purchased by Random House for the book rights and Classic Media for the entertainment rights. In July 2002, DIC purchased the Mommy and Me preschool label. In January 2003, DIC announced 3 syndicated children's programming EI blocks called DIC Kids Network. In April, DIC sued Speed Racer Enterprises, alleging that SRE had sublicensed the worldwide exploitation rights for Speed Racer to DIC the previous year, and end the agreement without DIC knowing. Later in July, DIC Entertainment signed a television production deal with POW Entertainment for Stan Lee's Secret Super 6, a series about teens with alien superpowers who are taught about humanity by Lee. In 2004, Hayward purchased Bain Capital's interest in DIC and took DIC public the following year under the United Kingdom Alternative Investment Market under the symbol DEKEQL. In 2005, Mexico City-based Anima Studios considered forming a relationship with DIC, but decided against in order to focus on its own projects. In March 2006, DIC reacquired the international rights to 20 of their shows from the Walt Disney Company and Jetix Europe, who had owned them since Disney, bought the previous owners, Saban Entertainment, in 2001. In June 2006, the company acquired the Copyright Promotions Licensing Group. In June 2005, Jeffrey Adele joined DIC as president and COO, Chief Operating Officer. DIC Entertainment, KOL, AOL's Kids Online, and CBS Corporation agreed to a new 3-hour-long programming block for Saturday mornings on CBS, the Kids Online Secret Slumber Party, which was launched September 15, 2006. On September 15, 2007, a new programming block, Quillopolis, premiered, a joint venture of DIC, CBS, and American Greetings. In April 2007, DIC Entertainment, Nelvana, And NBC Universal Global Networks announced plans to launch Kids Co. or Kids Company, a new international children's entertainment network. In October 2007, DIC sued the Dam Company, claiming they allege claims of fraud in the inducement and negligent misrepresentation in connection with Dam's Troll Doll and DIC's Trolls, which was created after DIC licensed the brand from Dam. Dam countersued DIC, claiming that the company financially misrepresented its ability to create and market a modern troll doll toy campaign and destroyed the image and goodwill of the doll. Cookie Jar Group DHX Media. On June 20th, 2008, DIC Entertainment and Cookie Jar Group announced an agreement to merge. President Jeffrey Edel was instrumental in closing the deal and led the merger with Cookie Jar. The merger was completed on July 23rd, 2008, and the company became a subsidiary of Cookie Jar Entertainment. Shortly after the purchase, Cookie Jar would fold into DIC into their own operations. Cookie Jar was in turn acquired by DHX Media on October 22nd, 2012. So let's go ahead and look at some of the blocks. These are some of the programming blocks that that DIC has had over the years. First off, the DIC Kids Network, a set of 3 syndicated children's programming EI blocks announced in January 2003. So this is probably what was on, the cookie. Yeah, so this was launch date, it's part of the Cookie Jar group as well. But um, some of the programs that would be on this would include, of course, Alienators, Evolution Continues, Archie's Word Mysteries, the first 3 seasons of Captain Planet and the Planeteers, Dino Squad, Horseland, Spectral Gadgets, Field Trip, Liberty's Kids, which I remember that one. That was a pretty good show. They brought back The Littles, Madeline, which is now on Cubo, Mummies Alive, non-EI, Sabrina the Animated Series, Sabrina's Secret Life, Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century, Sonic Underground, Stargate Infinity, Super Duper Sumo, Strawberry Shortcake, Trolls, The Busy World of Richard Scarry, Noonbury and the Super 7, Will and DeWitt, Wednesday's House, Ace Lightning, All Dogs Go to Heaven, the series, The Berenstain Bears, and the Smurfs. So those were the cartoons that were on DIC Kids Network. Now, what about the CBS broadcast block? Both one additional partner. So the Kids Online Secret Slumber Party, the 3-hour block that launched on September 16th, 2006, programming block with partner Kids Online, AOL's Kids Online. So let's see what some of the programming there is. This is Cookie Jar. It's eventually evolved into Cookie Jar TV. So some of the former programming, of course, again, many of them we already talked about. Some of the newer ones would include Cake, Dance Revolution, Care Bears, Care-a-Lot, Sushi Pack, Busy Town Mysteries. Some of these that I'm seeing on here are also on the DIC Kids Network, so why I'm not mentioning the Doodle Bops, Rock and Road Show, the Doodle Bops, Danger Rangers. So that was all on, basically the KOL. And then Coolopolis, programming block with partner American Greetings, which launched in Again, still part of Cookie Jar TV. So Coolopolis and KOL Secret Symbol eventually became Cookie Jar TV, whereas the D Kid Network became the Cookie Jar Network. Freddy's Firehouse was a children's educational programming block produced by DIC Entertainment and distributed by Buena Vista International, both Disney affiliates. In May 1998, at the block's start, most of the programming would be from DIC's library and was planned to air on PaxNet for 2 years, with it running on weekends with 3 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. Buena Vista would be free to sell to other outlets, international. However, Pax went with its own Cloud9 block. So Freddy's Firehouse, for those of you who did watch Pax Network a few years ago, that was the Freddy's Firehouse was, and a lot of it was the older stuff that you had already heard of. Funtown was a programming block on CBN Family Channel. The block was launched on September 11, 1989, with 26 hours a week programming. DIC was tasked with advertising sales, while the Family Channel handled distribution and marketing. Funtown ran from 7 to 9 a.m. on weekdays and from 4 to 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on weekends. The lineup of shows was a mix of formats from live-action animated hybrids to live-action and programs ranging from original to off-network shows, whether produced by DIC or other companies. In addition, a companion club program was supposed to be developed. DIC was also going to produce 4 specials each quarter, with the launching of Funtown combined with the others, mostly holiday specials, for the fourth quarter of 1989. Then Kideo TV was a programming block by DIC with LBS Communications and Mattel, probably their earliest. The Metro Media stations agreed to carry the block by January 1986. Kideo TV was launched in April 1986. Series on the block included Rainbow Bright, Popples, Ulysses 31, plus Get Along Gang reruns. Many of you probably remember the Get Along Gang from CBS from the 80s there. So that's about as much as I can tell you about DIC Entertainment here. That's a history and some of the background on DIC and some of the stuff that they've done over the years. So with that being said, let's move on to the next little thing, which is this day in each history. Let's take a look at what happened on this day in Nietzsche history. So first off, we head to 40 years ago on this date in 1980. The 100th issue of Devil Kid starring Hot Stuff from Harvey Comics was released on the newsstands. On this date in 1980, 40 years ago, Devil Kid starring Hot Stuff number 100 hit the newsstand from Harvey Comics. And then also on this date in 2005, which was about 15 years ago, from the TNA Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, TNA hosted Hard Justice 2005. And on that show, in the main event, of course, AJ Styles would defeat Jeff Jarrett to become the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, with Tito Ortiz serving as special guest referee. Abyss would become the number 1 contender after surviving a gauntlet for the Gold Battle Royal and then facing Ron Killings and defeating Ron Killings in the finals of that number 1 contender match. The Naturals would retain the NWA World Tag Team Champions from America's Most Wanted. Let's see. Christopher Daniels would retain the TNA X Division Championship from Luchador Shocker. Raven would defeat Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, aka Six, in a Clockwork Orange House Fun match. And that's pretty much all the main stuff that went on that day. With all that being said, if you check the links below, you can direct message me there. You can check out the Discord and join if you'd like. I'm still promoting a bunch of different dub companies. Um, Still promoting the GoFundMe's. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you if it's on your heart to do so and you have the means to, please consider donating. If you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you cannot donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because sharing is caring. You never know. Maybe somebody in your circle of friends may decide that they want to help out as well. And if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I would look forward to the conversation with you guys as long as it's civil and respectful. Um, and I hope that I will see you. Okay, and don't forget tonight, 5 is the next VA profile premiere. This week I'll be um, highlighting Hillary Haig, a Houston-based voice actress who's done work out of both ADV and Sentai. And if I don't see you tonight at the premiere, then I will see you on Monday. Bye.